Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another rock and roll episode of Hollywood After Dark. It is 2 days before Halloween and Henry Cavill quits The Witcher? What the hell is happening? Also, Supes attempts it. He tries to defend himself against the masses. Kind of fails, kind of does okay, I'll fully admit that. There's a lot more to talk about tonight. Saturday night, Hollywood After Dark, folks. Let's fucking go. Hey, what's going on, everybody? How you guys doing? Welcome to the party. Welcome to the show. It is another episode of Hollywood After Dark. Hope everyone out there is having themselves a good night. We're trying up a different camera angle, seeing how this plays out, trying to play more to my nicer features to the side, as well as get more of my nice twinkling fairy lights in the back. That's right, folks. They're blue fairy lights. I love them. I think they're wonderful. They make my room look like magic happens here. Not really. Not in the way you might think or like, but it is exactly where we find ourselves today. It's been, man, what a hell of a day. What a hell of a day is going on, man. I don't even know anymore what's happening. I don't even know what is going on anymore with everything here. So, I mean, obviously, there's a lot to get to tonight. Let me quickly talk about, we got a $5 super chat right off the bat from Rational. Thank you very much, buddy. Saying here, Grace is on vacation, far away. Come around and talk it over. So many things I want to say. You know, I like my movie talk a little bit later. I don't know what the fuck that means. I really don't. Like, I kind of get it. Grace is on vacation. She's far away, maybe. I don't know. I don't know. I just work here, but I appreciate the $5. Honestly, right now, all that stuff helps out immensely. So why don't we, can you turn it off? Shut up, dude. Look at this smile. Look at this. This is an attractive smile. I get all the ladies, right? Well, I only need the one. And I have the one. So I'm good with that. I'm okay with that. All right, let's see here. TW here says, Matt's room with the fairy lights is a portal to the right side up. I mean, I don't know, man. Last night, if you saw last night's stream, we got into the weeds towards the end of it. It's like almost a 4-hour long stream. I was going to hold it till tonight, but we ended up talking about it. The whole situation with Nancy Pelosi, the whole situation with the guy, David DePape, whatever, who went to her house and assaulted her husband and tried to, wait for Nancy because he was going to kill Nancy. That guy was big into Gamergate, and we read his manifesto on Gamergate last night, and it was weird. It was creepy. It was scary. Because obviously that means this guy watched my content. And I've kind of been grappling with that today a bit. It's been very weird, very odd thinking about that, because it's like, I'm just an idiot. Like I'm an idiot, you know what I mean? And yet this guy was like really into the stuff that I was into a long time ago. And it just ends up being this weird thing. Also here, You Do Suck says, Matt has a face for radio. Well, I got a voice for it. That's for fucking certain. All right. This face couldn't get me laid a lot in high school. You know what I mean? But the ladies enjoyed having the nice late night conversations. If you catch my meaning, you know what I mean? Like when it came to that, I was a digital authority, if you know what I'm saying. But anyway, no, it is what, no. Yeah, we're green. We'll get to the soup stuff, man. We'll get to the soup stuff there. There we go. All right. It is, sometimes the rabbit hole makes you mad. Yeah, that's true, man. Jess here. It is true. The rabbit hole makes me mad all the time. When I like go into these rabbit holes, like I have a friend of mine who, does a channel. I won't say who. They just recently crossed over 100K subs. They put out great content, really good content, really great guys, really like these guys. And I know one of them is like, I think they're both conservative, and I don't care if you're conservative or if you're liberal, whatever. But like, one of them is like on Facebook today going like, I have fairer skin and I was told to not watch Black Panther Wakanda Forever. As if like somebody who associated with the movie is coming out and saying like, if you're white, don't go watch it. If you're white, don't see this movie. And it makes no sense. It makes no sense because Obviously, that's not the case. Like, obviously, that's not what's happening here. Like, obviously, that's so stupid to even listen to somebody who says that, to even listen to somebody who remotely says, if you have fairer skin, if you are white, do not go see Black Panther. And it's like, and then again, this guy, I've told him like flat out, I'm all like, you've been hanging out, like he's friends with Neurotic, he's friends with those guys. And I'm like, dude, like you've been hanging out with them. Like you're just like, he called, we were talking today about, I said Black Adam was kind of dead on arrival, and I'll talk a bit about that here in a bit. But it's like, he goes, oh no, the shill media hated it. And I'm like, the shill fucking media, dude, what? You guys, like, what are you doing? What do you mean the shill fucking media? Like, it's completely ridiculous. Like it is. It's just like, I love this guy. He's such a good dude. Super amazing guy. Him and his brother, great people. Love them immensely. They're fun to talk to. Like we've hung out before. They're just super great. And it's like, you can tell that when a person goes down that rabbit hole, you can fundamentally see that this person is in a position where they are just, it's the media that they are consuming. It's the media that they are around, and it is the people that they associate with. One of the guys that this dude's really good friends with is a writer for RT. And I'm like, how do I have a conversation and be like, yo, one of your good friends, man, like literally is a Russian propagandist, writes for RT. That's state-sponsored Russian media. We know it's propaganda, but it criticizes the left. It criticizes those elements of it. Makes no fucking sense to me. Makes no fucking sense. And I don't want to say nothing about it because I like this guy and I don't want to hurt his fucking feelings or destroy friendship or whatever, man. You know what I mean? But it's like, at some point you just got to you just have to ask yourself, like, is complacency just like is it just part of the problem? Is it part of the problem? And it's like, I don't know. Like I have a conscience, I guess. I grapple with my own follies, especially like, and I'm not trying to like overinflate myself of like what I've been involved in or whatever, but like shit that I've been involved in, whether it is tangential or direct, has had real world ripple effects to an extent. And like no one else I really know like looks at that, and even like people who were involved too, they don't look at it and like go, they just go, it's not a big deal. Like they want nothing to do with it. They don't want to grapple with their own responsibility for some of these things the way that they fucking played out. And it's just like, how do you, how can you comment on, I don't know, how can you just not want things to be better and not have it be as tribal as it is? It's just fucking weird, dude. It's just fucking weird. It's the Hodge twins. No, it's not the Hodge twins. I'd probably end up cussing them out and they'd beat my ass in a heartbeat. Those dudes are fucking swole. They'd kick my ass. All I'm saying is this ridiculous. Carlos here says, no one is saying stuff like that in the black community about Black Panther's a movie. I mean, I know there's people on TikTok that are like fucking going crazy about it. If anyone can find me any videos on TikTok of them going crazy, we'll watch them. We'll laugh at them. I have no problem laughing at them. I've already got my fucking tickets for Black Panther 2. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm white as they come, like literally translucent, like I am fair skinned white boy, 99% European white, 1% Italian. It's where the complexion comes from. But it's I want to go see Black Panther Wakanda Forever because it looks fucking awesome. But just so weird. It's just so weird. Like how people who are rational end up in this place where you're just like, come on, man. The screen just turned white. Oh, fuck off, Shiny. Yeah, man. I'm white as hell. I have an Alaska hat on. That's how white I am. I have an Alaska hat. That's how white I am. Went up there, I saw polar bears. That's how white I am. You know what I mean? I'm just saying it is that shit. But anyway, before we dive into it tonight, we're going to be doing a little bit of a PowerPoint presentation. So I just want to get this stuff on the screen, ready to go. Simon here says Jarbo is 100% Canadian bacon. I'm 50% Canadian bacon, man. My mom's from Canada. My dad's family's from Canada, down like way back a little bit. So I'm like, I have a lot of Canadian in my system. And that's great. I love Canada, man. Canada's fucking amazing. It's a great. Matt's French, don't get it twisted. My friends growing in San Diego did call me Jabot la France Cono, So I've never been to French Canada, though. I've only been to BC, as far as I can recall. Saggy here says, rip The Witcher. Saggy, are you home yet? Are you going to come on? She said she'd come on, but she's out at the moment, living her life on a Saturday. You know what I did today, right? I did dad shit. Took my kids to an event, got them some candy, came home. We watched a few episodes of Bob's Burgers, and then I didn't go out driving tonight because we got home too late. And we decided to watch a movie, so we jumped over to Amazon Prime to see what they had there that was a little bit on the different side. Ended up watching Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows, which I hadn't seen. Saw the 2014 movie. Enjoyed the 2014 movie for what it was. Watched the Out of the Shadows finally. Really enjoyed Out of the Shadows. It is not a perfect movie by any stretch, but I will say this. Out of the Shadows gave me Bebop and Rocksteady and Krang in a movie. I'm happy. You know what I mean? It gave me Krang. And the Technodrome. And they went to Dimension X for a hot second. And it's I'm like, you know what, man? In the next movie, the kids from Dimension X would pop in and shit. Fuck, they embraced the cartoon. I cannot be mad at that. I lived through Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, 1991. You guys don't understand. I was 9 or 92, 9 or 10 when that shit dropped, man. It could be worse. It could be TMNT 3. Oh, yeah. Ooh, I remember when that dropped, man. Oh, we were so excited. So excited for a third Turtles movie. The return of Casey Jones. Oh. And it ended up being a time travel film. Fuck it, though, dude. Turtles in Time's a great goddamn video game. So there's that. Command unit here for $2 says Alaska has the most Native Americans in the U.S. Alaska is a huge place, man. There's a lot of indigenous culture up there. It's really pretty. I love Alaska. I really do love Alaska. I had a great time when I was there. I'm going back next year. I can't wait. I'm pissed off that I'm not able to go during the salmon run. That part sucks. So I really, really would like to do that. So, all right, here, guys, let us go into it. Caden here says, Secret of the Ooze is a classic. It really is a classic. What is the best movie about porn? Why do you got to ask me these questions? I'm trying to get the show started, Garrick. The best movie about porn? Orgasmo. Orgasmo is the best movie about pornography, right? Because it uses it as an actual backdrop to a movie. It's about a Mormon missionary with who can fight, who ends up becoming the greatest porn star in the world, all without ever having sex because he's a devout Mormon saving himself for marriage. Also, now you're a man, manny, man. Now you're a man, himmy and man, you're a man. Now you're a man. Yeah, y'all can say Boogie Nights. Y'all can say Girl Next Door. You can say Zach and Miri Make a Porno. Those are all fine answers. They're all good movies. But my money's on Orgasmo any fucking day of the week, dude. The People versus Larry Flint is another good one, Garrick. Right? But Simon here says the best stunt cock. Hey, how's it going? Anyway, that was my night in a nutshell, watching Out of the Shadows. Enjoyed my time here. Then I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go and I'm going to talk about movies here. Rational ask, God damn it. What is the best porn? Are you asking, or is this a segment selection, right? Segment suggestion here. Hollywood After Dark presents Best Pornography 2022. I mean, come on. Have you seen the titles for what's in porn these days? Let me, here's the thing. I'm not going to bring it up on screen. I'm just going to go to a random site. Okay. I'm just going to go to a random site right here. Look at some of these titles. I'm just going to read to you guys some of these titles. And this is a state of current adult entertainment on the internet. Here we got one. I Have a Wife. Lexi Luna seduces potential buyer with property sex. Hot Wife XXX. Jane Wilde's Jane husband watches again this morning. Extra Small. Stacy Lace tiny in a bathtub. Baby's got boobs. Josephine Jackson Morning Glory. Monsters of Cock. Veronica Lee anal session with monster cock. And the thumbnail, it's not a clickbait. It is a true monster hog. It is shocking to look at something so massive. Pervs on patrol. The toys aren't enough. Mommy blows best. I mean, look. Daughter swap, for crying out fucking loud. There is so much that is going on. Saggy, what are you listening to? You know exactly what you're listening to. What I'm saying here is like, what I'm saying is that would be a boring segment because there's no originality in it anymore. There's no originality in it anymore. It's just like, it's all craziness. That wasn't Brazzers or Adult Time. I don't know the different companies behind it. I just went to a website. So, is that Naughty America? Nobody does it better. It's bad that I know that I know the tagline. And it was like an instant reaction. Anyway, it's not bad. It's funny. It's just Zachary here says, at this point you should have one night a week dedicated to talking about porn. You know what? That takes the fun out of it, man. It's like scheduled sex. It just takes the fun out of it. You want spontaneity. That's where the humor comes from. My hands are fine. See? No cum. We're good. We're good. Again, if any of my family members are listening to this, I do apologize. You all should know better than to listen to this shit. Anyway, let's get into it here. So remember, guys, if you want to help support the channel, one of the best ways to do that is to check out Podio Commentary, youtube.com/Podio Commentary. It's where I'm posting my reviews and long-form commentary, which will be coming in the near future. Just trying to schedule out some time to do that and figure out a format. The biggest thing right now is formatting, but that's what I want to do. Also, if you guys want to really support the channel, or like super support it, patreon.com/Matt Jarbo. I know there's also channel memberships, which is a great way to help out as well, but the Patreon doesn't take 30% and we can still do the same stuff. Now that Netflix and Discord have an agreement, we can actually do some Netflix watch parties. I see Saggy in the chat is talking about Big Mouth season 6 or season 7. That's now currently out. Maybe a watch party of that. I don't know. Or maybe watch The Witcher, or maybe watch The Gray Man, or whatever else is going on. Anyway, also, doing that gets you access to the Hollywood After Dark Premium, which is our members only thing, which I've got to spend more time building up. So that's another reason why I'm promoting it. And then you guys can find me on the socials at mjarbo on Twitter, real Matt Jarbo on Insta, and real Matt Jarbo on the TikTok. Yes, I'm on there. And all right, Companion here, $5 super chat. Thank you, sis. No 40K today. Atomic Heart combat gameplay. All right, we will definitely check that one out. So thank you very much for that. But all right, that's my shilling. I get it out of the way quick, dirty, to the point, just the way I like it, just the way you guys like it. Of course, that is how we roll here on the HWAD Squad. But as always, I do want to say thank you guys very much for all of your support and everything else. You guys are fantastic, and you guys really do help make this something worth coming back to day in and day out. I do enjoy doing it because we have a nice little fun community here, and I think it's a community that you're not going to get anywhere else on this platform. To be honest with you, I think we have a lot of fun here that a lot of people would never in a million years try to have, because it's just this very unique, special thing, which is why a lot of people love to check it out. So thank you guys very much for that. So anyway, let's dive into the first little bit here of the night. Now that this is, again, kind of tech related, I think it's going to tie into something here. Culture Crave is reporting through the Washington Post that the use of the N-word is up 500% on Twitter after Elon Musk took over. Now, I feel that this is, again, in line with entertainment, in line with what we talk about, because, censorship and entertainment and art, things along those lines, is something that I believe is really important and valuable to a number of people out there. But of course, Elon Musk coming in and kind of opening up the floodgates, if you will, I think it was a gigantic bait. I do. I think it was a gigantic bait, because at this particular point, the fact that so many people, and a lot of them are our favorite chuds, are out there, not dropping the N-bomb, mind you, but they are saying other things that would normally get them banned on the platform. And they think that it's kind of a free-for-all now. They can say what they want, do what they want. It's the Wild Wild West all over again. But you have to understand that Elon Musk's number one concern is not about free speech. He's really about the advertisers, and the advertisers are going to need reasons to come around, and having people who can freely drop that terminology or other terminology that might make other people feel, not safe or not as included, is going to end up being a no-no for that. And, that's not going to be allowed. There's going to be content moderation. It's going to be all that kind of stuff. But it's going to be really interesting. Ralph Double Titzer says, Polly would be proud. No, Polly's dead, man. 10 years. Leave him in the grave. But then also, I thought this was interesting today. Marina Sirtis is trending at the moment. She's that there's kind of a double thing here. So back in 2017, when Elon Musk tweeted out, I'm departing presidential councils. Climate change is real. Leaving Paris is not good for America or the world. And she's like, I'm gonna buy a Tesla. This was also 5 years ago. She now says, I'm sorry, but I cannot be a part of anything owned by Elon Musk and his cabal of deplorables. I'll stay on for a couple of days so we can say goodbye, but after that, I am gone. And a lot of people are really going after her right now for this. But what you have to understand is that Elon Musk 5 years ago and Elon Musk now, I believe, are two vastly different people. My take on Elon Musk is that he is trying to find a way to populate Mars directly. He's got so many kids now. Him and Nick Cannon are in absolute competition. But I think the idea here is that where he was 5 years ago isn't great, but where by owning Twitter now, this will have an actual impact to an extent on our political landscape and our entertainment landscape, because, politics is downstream from culture, sadly, as Andrew Breitbart correctly and succinctly put it. So we are in a bit of a crazy space with that at the moment here, but that's what happened with Marina Sirtis today. All right. So then moving on, we're going to kind of just breeze through a lot of this shit. We did find out today that the Avatar 2 trailer, Avatar: The Way of Water, will have a new trailer releasing this Wednesday, which is surprising that it's going to be happening a full week before the release of Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, which is obviously going to be the place to showcase that trailer exclusively in theaters. But no, they want to put it out online. They want to generate that buzz, most likely because tickets are going to be going on sale very quickly, and they want to try to get as much love as humanly possible for Avatar 2, so that when it does come out, people are going to go, I've got to go see it. But it is, like I said last night, it is running at 3 hours and 10 minutes right now, but apparently that's not even the final cut. That's not the final runtime of that movie. Anything longer, and you are legitimately, I think, responsible for a fucking intermission. People got to pee. People really, really, really got to pee. And that is something that, I don't know, man, even 3 hours right now, I'm 40. I can sit through some of that shit, but I'm going to have to be very careful with what I eat and what I drink and how I go. And, I'll be sipping on water, and I'll be eating a large popcorn because that's all sodium and it's going to sop up the water and I won't have to pee as badly. But when I'm out, it's going to be getting me crazy. Henry here says, I ain't going to see a 3-hour movie in theaters. I didn't bought this weird 3D TV for no reason. Well, sir, you didn't buy the 3D TV to watch the movie for the first time. You bought the 3D TV to enjoy a movie you saw in theaters in 3D at home. I mean, generally speaking, you're not going to get the same experience on your home television that you will seeing Avatar: The Way of Water in the biggest possible format that you can. It's just not going to happen, but you should definitely be doing that there. Spherical Man here says, so Cameron will be ripping off Gone with the Wind for Avatar 2, huh? Hell if I know. I don't know. I just work here, dude. I got no freaking idea what the hell he's going to be doing. I got no idea what's going to happen, but I do agree with that boy here says Avatar 2 going to be fire. Hell yeah, it's going to be fire. Abso-freaking-lutely it's going to be fire. It's going to be a big-ass movie, dude. Spherical Man here. Come on, man. Come on, dude. It's going to be a fun movie, right? Dapoy here says, give me 3+ hours in Pandora. One of the movies is going to show us Earth, and I have a feeling it's going to be Avatar 2 or 3. They are definitely filming Avatar 4 and 5. I know they shot the first act for Avatar 4 already, and they're going to shoot all of them. They're absolutely going to shoot all of them. Let's see. Mladnir says, I don't want to see another Avatar 2 trailer. I'm afraid it might spoil the upcoming movie. You know what? It's a 3-hour fucking movie, dude. It's going to be very difficult to spoil all of it. But I get what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. It's going to be very fascinating to see what they do. And I'm hopeful that the trailer just gives enough, just gives a bit of it, just gives the tip, just a tip. So we know what we're seeing is something that's going to be worthwhile. But we're not going to be getting ruined on the overall experience. So I'm looking forward to that, right? Rational here says Avatar 2 greater than Black Panther 2. That's, I don't know, man. They got the death of Chadwick Boseman to contend with. That's a tough thing. And I don't mean that in like a Godzilla, let them fight sort of way. What I mean by that is like, there's a huge emotional thing when it comes to Black Panther, man. Chadwick Boseman absolutely did a great job with that character. He was an excellent ambassador for the role, for the property, for the franchise, and just in general, he was a good dude. In general, he was a good guy, and there's going to be a lot of people walking out, dude, white, black, Hispanic, Asian, whatever, that are going to be walking out going like, Wakanda forever. There's going to be a lot of people doing that. Commander here says, don't tip. I still have my tip, so I'm good. Thank you. I didn't unwittingly give it away when I was a child for women's facial beauty products, but thank you for that. He says this, he tips, by the way, so thank you. Simon here for $5. Thank you, buddy. He says, so this means Elon Musk now owns Black Twitter? I thought that was a myth, like leprechauns, unicorns, in a decent Uwe Boll directed movie. See, here's the thing, man. For one, no one owns Black Twitter. All right, especially with Black Panther Wakanda Forever on the horizon. No one owns Black Twitter. That's their space, all right? Any foolish white person walking into Black Twitter is going to have themselves a bad day, and they need to maybe not do that. So, but as for an Uwe Boll decent directed movie, I recommend Postal. That was pretty decently directed. It was actually a pretty fun movie. Also, the sci-fi Far Cry was a pretty decent one, albeit really straightforward, really, it is what it is, but it was decent. It was fun for what it was. It was better than some of his earlier stuff. And of course, there's the Rampage series, and he's done some other movies that have actually done, and the one called like Attack on Darfur, which had a lot of critical praise at the time when it came out. Although that might have just been more propaganda from Uwe Boll, I'm not too sure. But he's he can do some stuff, right? He can do some stuff, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Let's see, or Rampage. Yeah, or Rampage, right? Or Rampage, yeah, exactly. Dieter's like, I'm coming in. I'm gonna defend Uwe Boll. You know what we should do? Is there any Uwe Boll movies on Netflix? We should watch this. That, my friends, would be fucking hysterical. Let's see. Your command unit says, unless Kanye takes over Black Twitter. Hoof. Now, all right. So I got some thoughts on that one. Kanye put out an apology, which I haven't seen, but it's been roasted to hell and back. And this situation with Kanye is bad, right? Like, this situation with Kanye is not good. He's lost $2 billion. He was escorted off of Skechers property. He shut down the Donda Academy, but then like the next day was all like, no, pray for me. It's going to be all good. It's going to be all gravy. We're going to come back in the 2023 school year. It's just nuts, man. It's absolutely insane, like what he has done. And I can't help but wonder to myself if it's some kind of like ploy, right? If it is like there's a lot of other angles at play here, but I do wonder if there's some kind of ploy involved. Like, are we looking at a situation where you've got a guy who is having an actual mental breakdown, or it is a long game? Think about it. Like, people don't want to be mad at Kanye. They don't. They like Kanye, right? They like Ye. They like Yeezy. They want to buy his shoes. They want to buy his music. They want to make this guy richer. People like Kanye. But Kanye comes out and says all these horrible things, and it's met with like a pushback. But that pushback is largely met with a lot of disbelief. Like, hold on. What? Like, that dude can't be serious in what he's saying right now. Oh, come on, Kanye. What are you doing, Kanye? There's a lot of that takes place. There's a lot of people that are just like, what the fuck is he doing? So then I keep thinking to myself, like, is this dude like tanking his brands to the point of where it's like he will be the lowest of the low? He will just be down on his luck. Like, no one wants to touch him. But then all of a sudden he has this like coming to like, I guess coming to Hebrew moment, if you will, right? And he's just like, I was wrong, and I have been reformed, and I shall revive, and like, he drops a new album or whatever. Because it just feels like there's all this craziness that's happening around it. You know what I mean? But the Hitler stuff is really weird. It's really weird. But maybe at the end of the day, if this is not some like long-term like troll, which I wouldn't put past him, I hope he gets some fucking help. Like, I really hope like somebody who knows him steps up and they're just like, sit down, dude. But no, Kanye will not be taking over Black Twitter. Black Twitter doesn't, I don't know what Black Twitter wants to do. I'm in no position. I'm in no position to talk about Black Twitter, what they are up to, what their general consensus might be, or to offer any advice or speculation. That is simply not what I'm into there. Let's see, multiverse of movies. What's going on? Isaac says, I like your background, Mr. Jarvis. Really cool. Thank you, man. I like the lights. I thought that was a good investment. Blue is kind of my color. You know what I mean? I dig it. Gary Kirk says, I like Yay Fisher. That was pretty good. That was pretty funny. That was pretty good. Yeah. Anyway, I mean, like, okay, Gary Kirk says, Kanye is like Roman Polanski. Like the art, hate the person. Okay, like, I mean, in essence, yes, I get what you're trying to say. Kanye having really shitty opinions is not like sodomizing a 13-year-old in Jack Nicholson's hot tub in the 70s. I just think we should clarify that there's a line there. You're just like, no, it's in theory. It's like, it's in essence. It's not the same. It's just in essence. I think we're good. Otherwise, you're just like, no, you know what I'm saying? Let's see. You Do Suck here says, Candace Owens brainwashed him. She got him to buy Parler after all. I don't even know if he's going to buy Parler, man. Did he like make an agreement? Did they go into like any kind of arbitration over it? Like, or is it just like something like, yeah, I'll buy it. Like, Elon was like, I'll buy Twitter. And then they just kind of tricked him into buying Twitter. Oh my God. Adolf Hitler has cut ties with Kanye West. Breaking news. Let's see. McLeod here says, musical genius. I'm so freaking tired of people using that as an excuse for Kanye's bullshit. I mean, look, man, there's lots of people out there that are extremely talented individuals, but are just not mentally sound. They get exploited by a number of people over the span of years. They surround themselves with yes men. They're never actually told the truth. They're told all of these things that just artificially inflate their ego and artificially inflate who they believe themselves to be. And then they have this like epic, wild, crazy downfall, because what the fuck else are they going to have? What else are they going to, you get to when you surround yourself by people who don't hold you to account and they just prop you up as being this like, new messiah, if you will, you might eventually start believing you're the new fucking messiah, like I'm not like, what was the Goebbels quote, and I think this is a very astute quote. It's if you tell someone the same lie over and over and over again, like, or if you repeat a lie enough times, people will believe it. I'm paraphrasing. I'm pretty sure I got that wrong, but the idea there is the same. I mean, look at what happens when we talk about, we talked about yesterday with the guy who went after Pelosi, right? He was radicalized after going on YouTube and looking up a video game tutorial and ended up coming across anti-Anita Sarkeesian videos. A lot of them probably from me, unfortunately, but, how I used to be and stuff. And then, found other people talking about it and other people saying things about Anita Sarkeesian, and then like went down the rabbit hole. And then someone along the way was all like, Anita equal communism. And that was like, he was done, even though Anita is very much a fucking capitalist, very much not a communist, all of those things. But they went that direction because like No one ever challenged it. He wasn't shown any challenging ideas. He wasn't ever put in that position to where he had to, I think he wanted to challenge himself at first, but the more he kept watching, the more it kept playing into confirmation bias, and the more it kept playing into those ideas and those notions and who he maybe believed himself to be after a while. And that's how the radicalization process happens. That is how the de-evolution process happens, if you will. And I think that's what's going on with Kanye West, is he surrounded himself by all these yes men for years. No one ever questioned him. Every whim he had, he's just like, I want to marry a Kardashian, goes off, marries a Kardashian, has 4 kids with her, and then she ends up going off and having sex with Pete Davidson. And then he's just like, man, Pete Davidson has got a fucking like 10-inch dick. He's out there telling people Pete Davidson's got a 10-inch dick, and he's furious about it. He's absolutely furious and upset that Pete Davidson apparently has a gigantic penis. You know what I mean? Like, and it's just like, but that's where his mindset goes. That's where his stuff is. So it's just that. But anyway, we got $2 here from Jess. Thanks, buddy. It says people defended R. Kelly. People still defend R. Kelly. I mean, yeah, man. There are people out there who are just like that. They defend the worst of the worst. They defend the worst of the worst because that is exactly. It's all confirmation bias. Speaking of confirmation bias, Caden, what's going on with it?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're always Mr. Confirmation Bias.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, nah. It's just been a weird day, man. How you been? What's going on with you?
Good. Just this whole Kanye stuff. I was just talking about this with my aunt yesterday. Like how, like, again, like, if we all know how it started. Of course, the death of his mother was like, his mother was his rock, and his rock that kept him stable, and of course, the meds as well. And once the meds were taken out of the equation, his mother was taken out of the equation, then that's when, the further alonging of this mentally ill individual was being taken advantage of. And now it's even more taken advantage of by the likes of Candace Owen, Kid Rock, and the conservative right party,
Yeah.
And the more we learn about, like, the new story about him wanting to name that album that came out in 2018, Hitler, and that he's actually been obsessed with Hitler, and like how he sees himself as the new Hitler, whatever. I'm just like, oh my God, like, so clearly. Like, there was still
HITLER, it's the Hitler family.
Like, oh my God. And so I'm like,
yeah, it's so weird. It's just weird how.
Yeah.
But again, it goes into the mindset of like no one is ever telling this guy. Like,
well, that's the thing. Like, I was like, you can tell that there was infighting between the Kardashians about how to handle that situation of Kanye West, and that infighting led to Kanye West being just pushed out of the whole family,
Yeah.
And which,
but listen, there are some things that could be considered a benefit, and I think that's one of them.
It's a benefit
I
for the
very much
Kardashians,
disdain.
but it's not a benefit for
it's a benefit for both
Kanye.
of them. It's like, Kanye can go do his thing without having to worry about being on camera 24/7. It's like, I don't understand how anyone watches Kardashians.
Does want to be on camera 24/7.
Yeah, a little bit different on that. A little bit different.
Yeah.
But we got a $5 super chat from Moisture. Thank you, man. It says, I don't like how the media portrays blacks as being loyal to Democrats. But at the same time, black conservatives like Candace Owens give us a bad rap. Here's the thing with Candace Owens, man. She ain't a conservative. She's a liar. You have to understand that about Candace Owens. Like,
she's taking advantage of the situation she's put in.
Well, let me explain to you Candace Owens' history real quick, okay? So Candace Owens, when she was in high school, sued her high school successfully because the son, I believe, of like the town mayor called her at home and called her the N-word. A completely horrible thing to do. Yeah. But she sued the school and won like, I think $30,000. I think it was like maybe $30,000, something like that. She won like $30,000. So then she goes off and she creates this website. Like, she tries to get in on the Gamergate grift, like, says that like Zoe Quinn pushed her out. She kind of ran to Gamergaters, and that whole thing was weird. And then she came back a little while later with this website called Social Autopsy, which was, I'm not even kidding you when I say this was essentially a doxing website, right? So imagine all the terrible takes on Twitter. Someone has a terrible take on Twitter. Someone else goes, I know that person. I know who they are. Fuck that guy. They take and kids, specifically meant to be aimed for children, right? It was specifically aimed at younger people. And they would go and they would post that information on Social Autopsy. It would then be archived, and there would be a profile created and would have that person's name, like their picture maybe, like where they live, their social media platforms, and examples of them being shitty. And then, of course, all of that would go into the Google machine. So if somebody is then Googling you and they would come across something and you have no control over what gets posted there. And it's like a lot of us, and she did this, and a lot of us in Gamergate were just like, yo, this is bad, dude. You want to dox kids? Like, what the fuck? Right?
Yeah.
Like, how can you do that? Yeah. Like, look it up. Look up Social Autopsy. Right?
I see it bad. Right now. It says, she launched it in 2016.
Yeah. That's why she tried.
The purpose of it was to expose bullies on the internet by tracking their digital footprint. The site would also solicit users to screenshots of offensive posts and send them to websites where they would be categorized by usernames. She used the crowdfunding on Kickstarter for the website. Wow.
And she tried getting like people like, the like Anitas and Zoe's out there to come on board. And they told her basically no. And then she tried going to Gamergate thinking, oh, Gamergaters are going to be all for this. We wanted nothing to do with it. And everyone laughed at her. Everyone laughed at her.
That both conservatives and progressives involved in the Gamergate controversy and condemned the website. In response, people began posting Owen's private details online.
Well, I don't like that. I never did that. But
the
thing is, but she left from there and then she came back under the channel name Red Pill Black. Oh. She came back under the YouTube channel named Red Pill Black and started being pro-Trumpian. Started being like doing like the black conservative voice, which to be fair, nothing against black conservatives. Like if you are a conservative, like Young Ripa's black conservative, or he's like what, libertarian or whatever.
Something like that.
Fine, whatever, man. Like if you can have a debate, have your opinions, whatever. I don't give a shit. But it's like she was out there and like everyone who knew her from before was just like, dude, you're full of shit, lady. Everyone knows you're full of shit. But she's really, really, really good at getting herself like hooked in with the right kind of people. Like Dave Rubin, for example, complete, like he was like, oh, I'm a lefty. Then he's like, I'm a liberal. Now I'm the last liberal. Now I'm full on conservative. Now I've moved to Florida. And I've met Dave Rubin, and all Dave Rubin did is just chase the money. He's just and the thing is, he's gay and he's conservative, and they did surrogacy on two children, right? And like he posted it that he's having these kids. And then like all of a sudden, like, conservative Twitter was just like, you're an abomination. These children are abominations. These are terrible. You should all this stuff. And it's like, dude, you have to realize that the people that you have coveted, your audience, they fucking hate you. Yeah. They only like you because you tell them what they want to hear from that perspective. They treat you like a token that they can get behind. You're simply just their shield. And it's like, that is the thing. These grifters do this shit. Candace Owen, like, I mean, she is like, fucking so far deep into it now, she might actually believe this nonsense that she
honestly
says.
She does now at this point.
But
like the thing is like, people are like, oh, why are people now splitting themselves from Kanye? And I'm like, well, like when he started speaking on this stuff, he wasn't spouting violence against people. He wasn't spouting violence against a certain group of people. Now he is. Like now he's going this anti-Semitism route of saying death con.
What's so funny about that, Caden, is a lot of there's a lot of online online commentators that are like lefties that I've seen talking about this, and like they are really, really so funny. Like they'll condemn Kanye, but like a few months ago or a year ago, whatever, when you had the whole Palestinian Israeli conflict that was going off, these guys are out there like criticizing Israel left and right. The difference though is like they're criticizing the power structure that is Israel, the government, the conservative government over there, and how they respond to this particular crisis, versus Kanye, who is like saying shit. You're like, okay, come on, dude. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you, man?
Yeah.
Dave laughed off the backlash from the right. No, he didn't, dude. He doubled down on that shit, man. Like, you don't know Dave Rubin. Like, listen to people who know Dave Rubin. There's a reason why people like him and Tim Pool are who they are. Like Tim Pool, I've been on Tim Pool's podcast. We recorded it in a hotel room in Portland back in 2018. Like we were talking about how good Black Panther was back then. And like the commentary in this is right after Black Panther came out. We were talking about like the social commentary in Black Panther, and Tim was literally reciting lines from the movie to me. He had only seen it one time. He was reciting lines in the movie that Killmonger had said, and that T'Challa had said,
Right.
and all, whatever. And he's reciting them back. Like we're having a discussion about like the social politics of it all. And it's like, yeah, the dude, and then the guy just immediately just hard writes into this like massive grifter space where even he's trying to claim that the guy who attacked Nancy Pelosi is a fucking leftist. And it's like, we read the guy's website last night. There's no way that dude's a lefty. Like no way whatsoever. But because of how bad the optics were yesterday, because of how bad that is, how close that is to the midterm, they're doing everything they can to come out and like attack it as being this, like massive thing that it isn't. Here's the best one here. Du Bois says, Ben Shapiro said to Dave Face he wouldn't go to his wedding if he was invited. Those are supposedly his friends. Yeah. Not even like he wouldn't go to an anniversary party. He wouldn't go to like anything that had to do with the celebration of the fact that Dave is gay. What does that tell you? What does that tell you about your friends?
Right. Like your supposed friends, the people that are supposedly supposed to have your back or whatever you think they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
Like, that's stupid.
What about Destiny? Do I hang out? I've never hung out with Destiny. I've only been in one phone call with Destiny, and that was like 4 years ago. It was very brief, and it was like I was talking with another friend who knew Destiny, and he's like, "Oh, let's get Destiny on another call." And I'm like, "Wait, what? Huh?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he just rings up Destiny, and Destiny just jumps on in. And he's like, "Hey, what's up, guys?" I'm like, just randomly, all of a sudden, talking to Destiny. I haven't talked to him since then. He probably doesn't even remember that I fucking exist. Like, that's the thing, is those guys, like, there's so much that goes into this world, and it moves so fast. Like, I'm very happy to be away from it. But you know what? Let's get back on the movie talk part of things, because that's kind of what we're here for. One of the things I had made comments of, Kate, and maybe I don't know if you'll agree with me or disagree. I'm also waiting for the little Wi-Fi symbol. There we go. Pick back up again. It's like, doesn't matter if I'm on camera or off camera. It still fucking does it. But Black Adam, not doing that well. It's predicted to earn 25.5 in the film's second weekend at the domestic box office, a 63% drop, which that's actually not bad.
It's at six. Like, I think the most recent movie that I can think of that made like a drop like that on the second weekend was Eternals, which was 62%, I believe.
Shazam had a better hold.
Yeah.
So, Shazam had a better hold and everything else. Real quick, Command Unit here says Trump turned a lot of American Jews conservative. I mean, the embassy thing, man, that definitely had an impact, 100%. Henry here says conflating the Jews in Israel is often the first step into anti-Semitism, like Maud from accounting has anything to do with the foreign policy of a nation half across the world. No, 100%. 100%. It's a crazy conversation. Like, I mean, like, I feel weird even talking about it. I'm part Jewish on my dad's side. I don't even know what the fuck that means. Like, what does that even mean? Anything. I just, like, I found out, like, the same weekend Mel Gibson went on his tirade in Malibu, and I'm like, what does that even mean for me? I have no freaking idea. I got no stake in that country, no stake in those politics. I care about human right violations. I don't care where that happens. I care about that. But it's crazy. It's crazy. Anyway, so yeah, Black Adam, you're right. Caden had about the Eternals had about the same. But here's the thing with this though, right? So 25 million and the second weekend is like a drop from, the 67 million, but between Monday and Thursday, it only did like 14 million. It only did 14 million. In fact, yesterday, so Friday, it had a 72% drop Friday to Friday. Now, granted, that also has a lot to do with the fact that the early preview screenings aren't a part of that, but still, it had a over 72% drop from Friday to Friday. So I don't, so clearly Saturdays are going to pick up and whatever, but
because it looked like on looking at Friday to Saturday, it was a 11% drop. Then Saturday to Sunday was a 30% drop.
Yeah.
Then Sunday to Monday it was a 72 to 73% drop, and then it went up 21% on Tuesday. Then Wednesday, 38% drop. Thursday, 6% drop, and then Friday, plus 140% up.
Yeah.
Because Friday it earned 7.5 million.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's a slow, like Halloween's always been a slow weekend anyway.
yeah,
You know, all the years I spent working on Halloween weekend, Halloween night was slow as hell. If it came on a weekend or came close to a weekend, it would also be slow as hell. You know, that just happens. You Sucker says the movie needs China. Well, I believe it. I
it's
believe it as
November 11th.
yeah. So when it hits China, we'll have a better idea
Yeah,
about where it's at. But even
where it's
looking
gonna
here,
end.
just looking at the first week for the Box Office Mojo, we can see here that it did 90 million domestic, and that was up until today, right? Not including today, but that was up until yesterday. And then international 75 million, 166 million worldwide. I'm telling you, man, like this thing ain't gonna cross 500 at this point.
I don't think it will until China.
China could,
Yeah.
it could.
I think it will hit like 4.9, and then when China comes in, it'll hit, somewhere.
4.9. That's still. I mean, we'll have a better idea on Monday after where it stands internationally, because with Black Panther opening up next week, right, or the week
In
after
2
next.
weeks.
Yeah, so it's
Like
got this
November
weekend and next
11th.
weekend, and then
Oh,
whatever
the
happens.
same day that Black Adam and Black Panther come out, but Black Adam comes out in China November 11th, and Panther comes out November 11th.
Is Black Panther going to China?
I don't know, but it
Okay.
is going to France. I know there was a whole debacle on that whole thing, but it
Okay,
is
so
going to
they
France.
worked it out with the French cinephiles over there, right? Edward
Yeah.
Lauder from Small Screen's got to be doing a happy dance, like I can see it. I don't have to travel to England to go and watch it, since he lives out there and everything. So, well, look, I am hopeful this movie does well. I just think it's what I find to be interesting. What I find to be really interesting about all of that has a lot to do with the Superman stuff, which we'll get to. But I said this on Twitter, and I stand by this. The Superman cameo at the end, leading into the 12 days or 10 days before the movie came out, that was the marketing. That was what everyone was talking about. That was meant to build the hype. And yet it didn't. It effectively didn't. The movie overperformed the low end estimate, but it still dropped and dropped and dropped and dropped following the premiere. Obviously the Rotten Tomatoes score has something to do with that, and a few other things have something to do with that as well. But that's kind of the issue with this stuff, is that it just ends up, kind of being, it just I don't think it had the hold that a lot of online Snyder fans want to say that it did.
I think with this, it was a very interesting case because, again, it's like, I think it's one of those things where it's like, oh, if someone who's seen the movie and talks about it, someone's like, oh, there's this really cool post-credit scene. It's like, and they're like, oh, tell me, you should go see it. They just like, no, like I already seen it online.
I do think that hurt it, to be honest. I do think that hurt it.
Like there was a difference between the Venom thing and then this, because with the Venom thing, it's like, okay, like Spider-Man, everyone wants to see Spider-Man on the big screen. Everyone does.
Yeah.
Like Superman, I think what kind of killed the big screen, silver screen Superman stuff was having, honestly, like I love the show, but is Superman Lois, because you have Superman on TV.
Okay. Anyway, he got distracted for a minute, but that's fine. Moisture here with 5 bones. Thanks, Moisture. Says Shazam never crossed 500 million and it's getting a sequel next year. Here's the thing with that. Shazam, I believe, pulled in 366 worldwide, but Shazam also had only $100 million box office, or had only $100 million budget. It was a lower budgeted movie. Black Adam had $200 million plus at least 100 million in P&A. So it's like, and I'm sure Shazam on home video sales did pretty well. Keep in mind, this was 2019, before, this is right before Endgame. and also before the pandemic. And what I think maybe happened was one of the things we do see very often is that these DC movies do marginally well on home video. They actually sell really, really well on home video. Like DC, you know, I've talked about this before. Summer of 2016, BVS spent 5 weeks at number one, both Blu-ray and DVD. And then The Killing Joke spent 4 weeks at number one or number two, both you know, Blu-ray and DVD. And people out there were like, I fucking hate BVS. I fucking hate The Killing Joke. They sold like fucking insane amounts of copies over the course of that summer. The Killing Joke was so popular that the Fathom Events actually ran a second night screener because so many people showed up for The Killing Joke and wanted to see it. And even though people out there want to attack it, I've come to the realization that Twitter is not real life. That what you see on social media is not necessarily reflective of real life. And the problem is that a lot of people build their entire personas around it. And that ends up, what you hear is like, you know, certain people will say, well, many people are saying, or they are saying, or a lot of people didn't like this. And it's like, is that meant to be the majority or just who you see? And I do it too. You know what I mean? Like I do it too. So it's hard to always kind of justify. It's always, or I should say not justify. It's always hard to like explain, I should say. But Shazam was a cheaper movie. That's the reason why it's happening.
Yeah, it was 100 million budget with a 4.3 profit. So
wait, did it gross over 400 million?
No.
Okay, no, it's right. It's like 360, whatever, yeah.
It was like 366, like or
Okay.
367. So yeah, it was like a 4 profit margin. So it made profit in the places where they needed it to. And honestly, again, I think it was like one of those things where they're like, it's New Line. Like we make things for cheap and get a sequel announced, you know, which honestly, you know, like people were like saying when it took so long to get the sequel done and out there, that's like, they're definitely going to have Shazam 3 be greenlit like the weekend after and start production like soon so they can, you know, push that out as well. Because they're going to have to, because, you know, none of those actors are getting younger.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was saying about Henry Cavill, where people give me shit about that. They're just like, you said Henry Cavill is too old to play. I'm like, if they were going to reboot the franchise, you know, like they have to either get to it now or not do it with him. That's what I was saying. They have to either get to it now or not do it with him. And, and again, like, you know, that's kind of the whole thing there is, you know, it's kind of ridiculous, but, I did see here, what is that comment here? This is okay. So Henry here says, Twitter is not real life. It goes both ways. Rings of Power is a dud, even if the hyper fans try to pretend that it's good. See, here's the thing with that though, man. It's like the hyper fans, if you think about it, well, I was reading on Reddit a lot of the coverage of it, and the coverage on it was very, very, very positive. And the coverage on Twitter is a shithole. But Twitter again is not everybody. And looking, and I just got this. Well, real quick, I just got this screenshot here from their actual page. 28,000 people have voted with a 3.5 star. So I mean, like that's not a dud. That's not a dud. That's not what you're thinking of in regards to duds. 100 million people watched Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
more people than House of the Dragon.
Yeah, and also what's interesting is that like no matter how there's a divide between Tolkien and fans and all those crazy things.
Well, I will say, I
was talking to Hans like via stream and chat, and I was like basically explaining like what people are fighting over, and I was like, people are fighting over the fact that this is based on the Silmarillion, and the Silmarillion is like hearsay. It's based off of, you know, someone's account of the events, and it's not 100% factual, and we only know the broad experience of it. And so they were able to put in little pieces here and there that they wanted to, with creative decisions that they want, you know, liberties that they can have that still end in the way that it ends, but of course, adding things that make it even seem like, oh snap, this ending even makes it more seem achievable and earned. Um,
Yeah. I think there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be enjoying Rings of Power season 2.
yeah,
Shogun here for 5. Thank you very much. Says, did Spider-Man Surprise and Venom work because we didn't actually see the reveal, but only knew about it before the release? Yes.
yeah, and
And
also
you had Spider-Man like
yeah, I
less
think it
than
was
2 months away.
the synergy, and the no rumors about Spider-Man showing up in Venom. It was like, oh wait, there's an end credits with Spider-Man in it. Like, damn, with this
Yeah.
one, Superman has been rumored since greenlighting this movie.
Yeah.
Like,
There was
like
you can't necessarily compare the two because like the
yeah,
situations are different. Never mind,
complete,
keep in mind like we were coming off the like not coming off the
yeah,
pandemic, but it was a big release that was
right,
coming and people had felt starved to go to the
right,
theater. So this was a big, and it was promising all this stuff and it delivered on everything. That's the difference though.
yeah,
I think if Superman would have popped in for like the last half of the movie or the last act of the movie and would have blown everybody away, that would have had a significant impact on the
right,
box office. But that last little cameo that they shot last minute, but then they've also now worked an insane deal that we don't know the full specifics of, but we're starting to see little pieces and parts move around, at least leading up to
right.
November 1st, which I do think will have a fair amount of stuff there. But let's get into the other thing tonight, the thing I want to laugh at here a little bit. Let's talk about Supes.
Oh, yeah, him.
Yeah, him.
What's funny,
Supes.
it's like he has some fair critics of him, and there's some people who I think are just criticizing him just to criticize him. Um, like yeah, we all know that Supes, when there is more fanfare, more fan service, he likes it more. We all know that.
He's very easily influenced.
Yes.
I don't
And
mean he's paid.
no,
I don't believe he's paid. I do believe
no, that was
he's granted access to
yeah.
things, but
I mean,
a lot of people are, so I can't really complain
yeah.
about that.
Also like, and we all know that he made like as that when he did the if when there was like this whole thing where it was when Spider No Way Home came out, like when he went to the premiere, he was like, "Oh, it's a great movie. I wish like it was like," or it was like either No Way Home or Love and Thunder, one of the two. And when everyone started loving it more, then he started loving it more. You know, he's like, "See, guys, I told you guys." Da, da, da. Oh, and the same thing with Miss Marvel. He was like, "I didn't really like the first two episodes of Miss Marvel," and then once the everyone saw, he was like, "See, I told you guys you'll love her." Like, no, you didn't. You said we would be with her.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah,
Um,
and that's the thing is like someone like him is just like you can tell the guy is playing an angle, right? So anyway, I just found this image of him, showcasing that he clearly gets access to stuff. So he got into it the other day. We can see here 2,347 quote tweets on this tweet about Wakanda Forever. Says it's definitely a step down from the first film. It has great qualities in Letitia Wright's performance, Namor and the action, but there's a lot that just didn't sit right with me that I can't explain without getting into spoilers. I'll explain more once the movie comes out. And that just got him
yeah.
absolutely effing roasted by people.
I mean,
And
did you, do you have the TikTok before today's TikTok? The one that's
not
good, like that's a video reaction.
the one of him at the
It's
at
the
Black
video. It's
Panther
the
or at
version.
the
It's the Black Panther video reaction after this tweet. Like it was a day after this tweet, after he got all the backlash. Then he made this. Hold on, let me find it.
Yeah, find it for me real quick here because as we
Okay.
go through this, I think I accidentally got my slides out of order. So let me just So we got this cover, talked about it. Yeah, I know, but they talked about it. They say your TikToker Supes roasted over the coals for takes on Wakanda Forever. This guy, what it says here is like someone cites his praise of Black Adam and says if he likes this while saying the coming that the Black Panther film is off, he cannot be taken seriously. And this guy here says Supes praised Black Adam and called it one of the best CBMs, while critics said otherwise. Super biased only because Superman was in the post credit, and now Black Panther 2 is bad while critics are praising it. If that isn't bias, and microaggressive, I don't know what is. Now I don't know about microaggressive definitely here, but
Right.
here's this is
Yeah,
okay,
this
okay, this
is
is your original one on this. Okay.
yeah, and well, also what's like the the history of him with Black Panther Wakanda Forever. I'm sure like everyone knows that he was like, oh, Shuri shouldn't be the new Black Panther. She isn't trained and all this stuff, da, 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 whatever. And then then him
Yeah.
saying that tweet was like, oh, like what is it? And so this is his TikTok after the tweet went out and after he got backlash for that tweet.
So last night I watched Black Panther Wakanda Forever, and after really sitting with my thoughts, here's what I think. Let's start with the pros. All I gotta say is Namor, Namor, Namor. This man truly stole every single scene he was in, and his introduction was so fire. Tisha Wright also gave such a great performance as Shuri, and I really loved her story arc in this film and the way they took her character. And I genuinely wouldn't be surprised if Angela Bassett gets nominated for an Oscar because she was fantastic. Guys, the action in this movie was also amazing, and I felt like Marvel saved all their budget for this because it looked great. Now, here are some of my cons. So there's a particular storyline in this film that is just completely useless and is only there to set up a future project. Instead, I wish we got to spend more time in Talokan, not only getting more Namor, but also the people of Talokan and other characters. I love M'Baku and Nakia, but this movie didn't really give them much to do at all. And if you compare it to the first movie, it's night and day. I also wish they leaned more into the emotion than they actually did. I'm not even talking about T'Challa's death. I'm talking about more so just letting us sit with these characters as they feel because of things that happen in the movie. That being said, the ending of the film and its post-credit scene are definitely going to tug at your heartstrings. I look forward to continuing to break down this movie, but this is all I can really say for now. Overall, there's a lot to love with Black Panther Wakanda Forever, and I think it's the third best movie in Marvel Phase 4. That being said, I still think it's a huge step down from the first film, but I still think a lot of you guys will really like it. So last night I watched Black Panther Wakanda.
Okay. So it
yeah,
does seem like he's trying to cover his ass a little bit, right?
Yeah.
He's like, I mean,
he's like, I love it, but there's these other things that I don't like about it.
Notice how he didn't mention Ironheart.
No, and I think that's the storyline that he hates.
Most likely, yeah. Oh no, she used my line.
Oh no.
I mean, like, here's the thing, though, right? This is a nitpick. Okay, I'm fully acknowledging this is a nitpick. I don't get if you're going to sit down in front of a camera like that, take a lint roller and get that cat hair or that fuzz off your damn shirt. Like, that's it. Just get it off your damn shirt. Because it's very much this, like, I'm like, come on, dude. Like, I like wear lighter colors, man. I don't have, I don't have cat hair on me, but it's like other crap, right? Like you gotta do that in this stuff. So I get that, that scenario with him right there. And then of course, the other thing too was that he had brought up, I wish I could review Rihanna's end credit song, but the theater was clapping so loud for such a long amount of time and we couldn't hear the music. And this guy here says, did you of all people just complain about somebody else making noise in the theater?
That he overlooked is that like people weren't attacking him for that tweet and for his TikTok. People were going after him because of this. Because like the hypocrisy of himself. He's like, too much noise. I couldn't do it properly. I couldn't review it properly. There's too much noise. When legit, dude, you were recording a TikTok or whatever during the Black Adam stuff, and then you recorded some TikTok, like you fainted and coming out of the theater.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. But then you've also got like, the he's talking about the fact that there was like storylines that were useless, but they set up plots for future films, and you're just like,
isn't that what films do in a cinematic universe?
Isn't that like, don't we know Marvel does that? Like, I want to talk to you about the Avengers Initiative. Like, oh my God.
And then
Avengers!
He's like, no,
4 years later.
It's like, no, I hate that. It was terrible. It took away from the film. It's like, what?
I know. By the way, guys, 130 of you guys watching right now, fucking smack the like, guys. Smack the like, because let's take a look here at his kind of apology update talk, this video here. It's just like, again, he's wearing the same t-shirt and it's still got the hair on it. So that's what I've noticed here. But so he wants to, this is him trying to address and get away from the criticism.
All right, guys. So I want to talk about all of the Wakanda Forever drama that's been going on here the past couple of days. So the internet has collectively lost its mind over this one tweet right here where I said Wakanda Forever is definitely a step down from the first film. It has great qualities in Letitia Wright's performance, Namor, and the action. But there's a lot that didn't just sit right with me and I can't explain without getting into spoilers. I'll explain more when the film comes out. Mind you, I did not say I hated this movie. As a matter of fact, I quite enjoyed it. So much so that it's at number 3 in my Marvel Phase 4 ranking. And me saying that this movie is a step down from the first film is not an insult because I think this is one of Marvel's best movies. We can all agree that Age of Ultron is a step down from the first Avengers movie, but I still love Age of Ultron. And this has prompted an insane amount of hateful stitches over here on TikTok, and Twitter is no different. And it's absolutely crazy to me how so many people can have an opinion on a movie they haven't seen yet. People are saying, oh, Supes loved Black Adam, so his opinion doesn't matter, when I never posted a Black Adam review. I made one funny video with my friends celebrating the return of my favorite character of all time. And I've been seeing the whole Supes doesn't like Wakanda Forever because there's no cameos in it. How would you know? It's like you guys are almost asking me to spoil this film by talking about who is and isn't in this movie. Before, it was Supes is on Marvel's payroll, we can't trust him because he just eats everything up. And now when it comes to Wakanda Forever, I watched this movie, I have genuine criticisms about the film, and there was just some things that didn't sit right with me, which I'll talk about more when the film comes out. And now Supes is on DC's payroll, and he's just doing this all for likes, attention, and I swear to God, all of that could not be further from the truth. Once this movie comes out, I'm sure a lot of you guys will share the same criticisms that I have, but that is a conversation for a later date. Another thing I'd like to address is that I saw a ton of you guys in my comment section asking why I never covered the Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania trailer. It's not because I'm on DC's payroll, it's because I was with my friends and family who I see less than a handful of times a year. I'm going to be a bit vulnerable here, but while a lot of people have the luxury of spending a lot of time with family, I don't have that being out here by myself in LA. But it's the sacrifice I'm going to continue to make to continue to do what I do. So for a lot of people to be talking about me on here on social media as if they know me, it's very interesting. I just wanted to voice my opinion on this matter, and I'm going to continue to bring you guys the best videos I can possibly make.
So, okay, so
crying now because he can't.
Yeah, right. Like I don't get to see my friends and family. Dude,
you see
LA's a transplant
center
facility.
you go to.
Well, you have your LA friends, and then you have your family from back home. Caden, I mean, you grew up in LA, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you grew up there. So I was a transplant. I moved into the city. I had my friends in San Diego. I had my family in Oregon. I had my friends in LA. Now that I've left LA, I have those friends I go visit when I'm able to make it back into town. And everything else, like that to me, like that right there, that was obfuscation. That's what that was. That was a goalpost moving. That was a come in with like this defense, like, oh, I'm going to play up I was with my family. How can anyone ever criticize me? What people are criticizing him over is like, is the fact that he has these takes and he ends up backpedaling all the time.
Yeah.
He'll come out with a negative take, as Caden pointed out, and then once the credits start, the good vibes start to roll on in, he'll reposition it, and then go,
oh, this is what I meant by this. Not that I hated it, but I actually liked it. And if it's like, if he liked something and people start hating, he's like, yeah, I understand how you guys don't like it, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Like,
it's weird. I just wanted to laugh at that because I thought that was so funny. Vulnerable angle of it. You can be vulnerable. Don't get me wrong. You can be homesick, man. You can miss your friends and family 100% of the time, but don't use it in an article, in an argument like, oh, I didn't review this trailer because I was with my friends. I don't see them very often. It's like, okay, fine. But how long does it take you to make a fucking TikTok? 20 minutes talking about a trailer? 20 minutes? Right? Like this isn't high production value shit.
Like Straw Hat Goofy, who legit like has a daughter and has friends and stuff, makes time, to do like that stuff when he's hanging out with, his daughter or friends,
Yeah, you make priorities like when you do things like that. Like that's just how it goes.
You shape your stuff around your other stuff. Like there's
there we go.
If you're gonna be a comic book movie reactor, like, and the trailer comes out, you're gonna be like, okay, yeah, like I'm with my friends, but let me step to a side and do like a really quick 2-minute reaction. If
you have to dip out for 5 minutes, they're not gonna care. Like your friends aren't gonna give a shit. Like your friends know this is what you do for work. It's a big thing. Exactly. And if you don't want to do it, then this you don't have to do it either. Like, but don't use them as an excuse for this kind of stuff. I think it's always kind of funny. I see people saying like, oh no, let him have his opinion. His opinion can be whatever the hell it is. It's that people give him shit because they don't trust his opinion, because he flip-flops as much as he does. That's why there's so many.
He flip-flops and he's a hypocrite.
Yeah.
And
that's why a lot of people are like, also, you know, I mean, okay, to be fair, I agree with his point about like, how can people criticize the movie that they haven't seen? And that's 100% accurate, but they're not criticizing the movie. They're criticizing him for the stuff that he does.
Him and him as a reviewer and reactor. You know?
Well, Anthony here says he did do a Twitter space talking about Black Adam spoilers. Was it a review though? Because that's where he'll get you. Because he says, I didn't do a review of Black Adam. You didn't have to do a review of Black Adam when you film yourself having an orgasm and fainting in a fucking theater. Like, you don't need to tell people how you feel about the movie. That is effectively your review.
Face and how we react to everything. Even if it's not words, you did it with your body, you know?
Yeah, there you go. Rational asks, how did Supes get red carpet access?
That's a long story.
Well, I mean, the long and short of it is he had a manager. That guy, they're not really cool anymore, but through that person, Supes was able to get verified, and then he was able to get a bunch of other stuff. And then from there, he gets his own media contacts.
Which is, you know, like, honestly, I'm happy for him, you know, because of the struggle of the manager that he had, who was a liar. And so it's like, good, you know, you kept your contacts. It's just, you know, that he's a flip-floppy person, you know?
Yeah. Well, he is. And that's the thing too. Also, it's like, if you know the right people, you can get in. Like John Campia before could get red carpet access. Like there's a picture of him and his wife at the Rogue One red carpet. You know, like walking the red carpet and whatever. It's like a lot of that. Again, it's not even like, oh, he got invited to go to the red carpet. It's just you get an invite. And you're like, all right, they just need people to walk the red carpet. Like the thing is going to these events are cool, but at the end of the day, it's still like, it's really not anything major. Like you're using it to boost and hype yourself up, right? But it's like, you know, if you get in with a couple of these PR companies, like they'll fucking like these studios will fly you to junkets. Yeah, you know, like what is it? Just recently, but a while back, I believe like Lewis, like a nerd, you know, I still follow him on Instagram and everything else, but he had said like he had posted images from Lucasfilm, like he had gone with a whole bunch of other journalists, I believe up to Marin County, went to Lucasfilm's head office at Skywalker Ranch. You know, they covered that, right? There was another time, I know a number of years ago, I think when Missing Link was coming out, Leica and I think Universal had sent him and a bunch of journalists, flew them from LA to Portland, put them up overnight, busted them over to Leica, which I actually, when I lived in Portland, I didn't live that far away from. I was just in like I was like about maybe a mile and a half away. And they got to go into the studio and check out the studio and stuff. And then they went back to their hotel, slept, and then they were flown back to LA the next day. Right. So it's not like they don't get hooked up. It's not like they don't get sent to places. Like that's kind of the whole thing. When you get that access, you're going to be able to get that kind of hookup. You know, and then if you have something like 2.8 million followers on social media, you're going to be considered a fucking influencer. Even though if you look at Supes videos, they don't pull in that much comparatively speaking to the amount of people that he has following him, you know. Like I got 21,000 followers on TikTok for true crime. I posted a thing yesterday. It's at 170,000 views. You know, today I went up like 600 new followers. It's great. But it's like, you know, but it's not an everyday sort of thing. And, you know, it's like there is a proportionate.
On Twitter, he has like 250,000 followers.
And how many likes and dislikes or likes and retweets does he normally get per post? That he's not being controversial on. That's the thing, is he knows how to be controversial. He'll come out and he'll be like, something about this didn't sit right with me, you know, but when the movie comes out and I've been able to go see it again, there you go. It's going to be a little bit on. This is how it is. This is how it is. And again, it's the game. It's the game. And I don't fault him for playing the game, but like to come out and then to use like I don't get to see my family because I'm out here by myself making fucking TikToks from my room and going to like, you know, like, dude, I had to manage a rat infested fucking theater when I was there, you know, like, it's just like, the theater that I was at, it had literal rats. And at one point they were dying in the walls and it stunk, and we couldn't do anything about it because they were in the walls. We had to wait the 2 weeks for the smell to die. That is like the conditions. I was making $9 an hour, doing this shit. And he's like, "Oh, I shoot little, like I do videos from here and whatever, and I put them out too. And I own a house, but it's just like, I don't know. I hate that kind of argument shit. It's just really stupid. Your local neighborhood Martian, thank you, says, I loved it when Campy had tried to explain he didn't want to post a spoiler for No Way Home. It was then I unsubbed. He just can't say the truth. Exactly. He knew it was real. He just wanted to watermark it. He wanted to get
Tobey Maguire's dick.
I want to put that on a t-shirt and like wear that to Comic-Con. Like, I don't know if he's ever there, and just have John Campy's face go, look at Tobey Maguire's dick. And then just be like, unblock me on Twitter, you bitch. He actually blocked me because I told him he didn't understand the storytelling happening in Loki. Because he was like, episode 3 of Loki was like shit. I'm just like, you don't get the fucking story,
Yeah.
And then I was blocked by Rob Liefeld, co-creator of Deadpool, because I said The Last Jedi was bunk. I just said bunk, B-U-N-K, block.
Rob Liefeld.
Rodney, weird. Is that you? Shut up, Hans.
Rob Liefeld, during the pandemic, he was doing these like comic book sales live streams, like selling like comic books of his that he signed and like whatever. And it's like, oh, put in the chat if you're interested in like, seeing it. Like if you want to have it, it's $10. It's $10. So then I was like, oh yeah, I'm totally interested in one of them. Like I sent in like some number and I was like, and he DM'd me. He was like, oh, it's $10 for the thing and $20 for shipping or like whatever. And I'm like, oh, I'm no longer interested because I'm not paying $30 to,
Yeah, you're not Eric D. July. This isn't the Ripaverse.
I'm not spending $30 on a comic book that I can just buy from the store. No, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And he was like, and then it says, we're blocking all fake requests or whatever. And I'm like, dude, I'm not fake. I was just like,
I just don't want to spend triple the price.
I don't want to spend like 3 times the amount that you said that I would spend on stream. Like, no, I'm sorry. Like, but he still blocked me. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm going to block you on Twitter and see how it feels. But yeah. So he blocked me on Instagram, but I haven't blocked on Twitter.
It's all crazy these days anyway. Yeah. But like going to kind of round out the Supes thing, here's what I think it really was. I think Supes believed that Dr. Doom was going to be in the movie. I think a lot of people believe Dr. Doom was going to be in the movie. And that was something there was that supposed concept art that got leaked out a while back.
Which, then there's but the Doom thing was a bit, it's like, oh, because when Black Panther 2 is announced, then I think there was a site that was like, oh, Doom War is a possible plot point that they're gonna do. Yeah. And then like it's possible, not 100%. It's just like what a person told me, and never reach out to some other people to try to confirm it. They never reached out back, whatever type of thing. So it was like this Doom War lingering thing. But then as soon the movie like announcements moved along, where it seemed like it's not Doom War anymore, it's Namor.
Yeah. And then, well, also I wonder if because of the intelligentsia angle with She-Hulk and how it kind of looked a little bit like the Dr. Doom mask, a little bit. They were definitely making fun of Doomcock, but it could have also been seen as a Dr. Doom mask to an extent. If that would have been like a like tying into it some way or lampooning it a little bit, because how it is with stuff, people read into everything.
Intelligentsia is connected to Doom in the comics.
Yeah.
So I
wouldn't be surprised if that was the case.
People were like, oh.
Like, they're referencing Dr. Doom. What's the next big Marvel movie? It's fucking Wakanda Forever, man.
Right.
We're going to get fucking Latvia,
and then,
man.
Of course, you have, people who are like, oh, what's Doom War? Doom War is Doom setting up Atlantis to fight with Wakanda and then, whatever. So it's clearly this is the storyline they're going with. and then it's not. Namor
But yeah,
Namor is really the villain of this whole thing.
but that's what I think happened. I think
Yeah,
Supes got upset.
I think it definitely was because
I
of that
found,
too.
I found this. I just thought it
Oh
worked out.
my god.
I just thought it worked out. That worked out well. Hans here says, "Yo, Max is finally selling out." I mean, finally. I mean, he tries to push a lot of stuff, but he's really bad at salesmanship. So I don't know what he's selling out for. Do you know if has he done anything? Is he getting his Max OnlyFans? Is that a thing? I don't know. Anyway, I just wanted to laugh at that a little bit there. I don't
But
watch
yeah,
Soups. You do what you
the
guys want to
Supes
do, but
the
it's
Supes
just
thing is.
it's the
I mean, there's a
influencer angle of it that does the bullshit that I hate because it gets
yeah
people riled up on purpose.
yeah. I think like again, I congratulate him on his progress on where he's at, but
Yeah,
I don't agree with what he says and what he does. You know,
yeah.
um,
So,
because
oh, dude,
there's a bit
so
of
well, H Barts, when I talked about him the other night, H Barts was kind of was ribbing him in the chat, and I made a quick little jab about his hands. I didn't realize, and then some guy got so fucking mad at me about that, man. He was like on Twitter, like tagging me, tagging him, clipping out that little bit. Like, never mind. I was just like, I can't really say there's context to it. I was just kind of being a dick. But it's so funny how that shit works out.
yeah.
Anyway, let's get in because it is getting closer to midnight, and I do have to run to the store before they close. So let's talk about Henry Cavill, whatever you want to call him, the man of the hour, the man of the
It
month, the man
pisses
of the
me off when
year.
people say Cavill. I'm
Cavill,
like,
I
oh
know.
my
It's
god.
Are you ready for your close up, Mr. Cavill?
I'm
No, it's
like,
Cavill.
it's not
I
Cavill,
know,
it's
I know.
Cavill.
It's like when people, it's like RJ when he goes like, it's divisive.
I'm
It's like
like, oh
it's
my god.
divisive, dude. No, it's pronounced divisive. If you are if you are a pretentious piece of shit, it's like being from the Northwest, and we have the Willamette. We have the Willamette region, right? The river, and then you play a game like Dead Rising, and it takes place they go Willamette. It's in Willamette, and I'm
Oh.
like, everyone like, it's Willamette, jackass. But it's just there's pronounced like, dude, when I moved to San Diego, I didn't realize that like everything was kind of Spanish sounding. So I lived, the street, and it was Jamaica, right?
Right.
And I'm just like, oh, it's Jamaica, and then I'm like, oh, you're off of Jamaica Street, and they're like, Jamaica. I'm like,
Right.
is that it? Or Hamaka, whatever. Fuck. I'm like, all right, like there's El Cajon. I thought,
Right.
oh, El Cajon.
Nope.
Like again, like La Jolla, La Jolla, La Jolla. How do you pronounce that? It is what it is. But anyway, Cavill made big news today. He's been making big news now for weeks, and it's just like the man just won't quit. He had the new movie announced yesterday. That's effectively like a
Yeah.
James Bondian type film.
Yeah. What's funny is like when I was scrolling through Twitter and someone said, wait, who's the new Gerald? And I was like, where's this new Gerald stuff coming from? And I was like, and then I looked up and then someone said, the other Hemsworth brothers Gerald? I'm like, okay, hold
But
on.
yeah,
I looked up
yeah, I
Liam
was.
Hemsworth and it's like Liam Hemsworth posted that he's the new Gerald. And I went straight to Twitter. I was like, text you guys, Liam Hemsworth is the new Gerald. Like, Cavill's
I was
no.
like, what is going on? Like, huh?
And then
Because he'd made no indication recently
there,
about being unhappy with The
yeah.
Witcher.
I mean,
But
well,
anyway,
like he's like, like there's headlines about him like saying that he's been fighting for a more accurate
and I got a little bit
Gerald.
about that here a
Yeah,
couple slides in. But I think well, the thing with this though is like he really does love the character.
he does.
But I
And
do
it
think
sucks
that,
that the people working on the show, the
well,
writers especially,
as I've said
just
before, these writers though, it's like,
actively dislike the source material.
well, we don't necessarily know that. We know from one person, and and I will say the guy's got definitely like, he's not like a nobody or whatever.
Yeah,
But the thing is though, it's like you can have there's an issue with that, right?
right.
Having someone who writes something from a fan service perspective is not going to always push the story forward. You're not always
Yeah.
going to get the best takes. You're going to get takes. You're going to get scripts.
I think with this one, I think they wanted eye candy with a sword, and that's what they thought Geralt was. that he's eye candy with the sword.
No, he's way
He's
more
way
complex
more
than that.
complex,
Yeah.
and that's what Cavill wanted. He wanted a
Yeah,
complex.
yeah. Well,
Devin
and
Depth
I
character.
got that information down here.
Yeah.
But basically, what we found out today was Henry posted on his Insta, saying here that my journey as Geralt of Rivia has been filled with both monsters and adventures, and alas, I will be laying down my medallion and swords for season 4. In my stead, the fantastic Mr. Liam Hemsworth will be taking up the mantle of the White Wolf. As with the greatest of literary characters, I pass the torch with reverence for the time spent embodying Geralt with an enthusiasm to see Liam's take on this most fascinating and nuanced of men. Liam, good sir, the character has such a wonderful depth to him. Enjoy diving in and seeing what you can find. And obviously, I mean, I think that's a bit of a dig at the people a little bit, because I mean, Liam came back and he's like, saying here, and he kind of looks like Geralt too. He does. He has the look of Geralt.
Mean, if hold on, you know what? Let me, because Sean O'Rourke posted something.
Yeah, well, you'll find that, and I'll finish up with this.
Yeah.
He says here, as a Witcher fan, I'm over the moon about the opportunity to play Geralt of Rivia. I may have some big boots to fill, but I'm truly excited to be stepping in to the Witcher world. And I have nothing against Liam Hemsworth there.
I don't either. He's a decent actor. As you can see, he's getting
bulked. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I want to become an actor, kid. I want to get into one of these roles and be like, we need like a middle-aged, like funny fat dude. I'm like, but wait. What if he wasn't fat?
Like,
what if we get rid of that entire thing? Yeah, still middle-aged, still graying, kind of funny, but jacked. Yeah. Think about the soccer mom demographic that's just going to sploosh everywhere, man. And then like, just work me out, man. Work me out. Like that's because that's how lazy I am. Like, get Marvel to cover me.
Movie so I can get jacked.
That might be a little bit on the different terminology of jacked, but yeah. No, I think Liam here looks good. He with the white wig and everything else, he'll be able to do it. And I get why Henry wanted to potentially move on here, because he
did see like with this whole fighting with the writers and stuff, most likely fighting with writers and stuff. I think he saw this as an out. He was like, oh,
well,
Superman.
I think he was initially only cast though for 3 seasons. I think so. Contracted for, because Netflix generally tends to do 3 seasons. And then they'll renegotiate, which is why a lot of stuff doesn't get past the 3rd season. They kind of end on that 3rd one. But the thing with The Witcher is that it's very popular. It does very well for them. They have talked about doing 7 seasons of the show. The delays with COVID shutdown, the fact that the first season was at the end of 2019, the second season came out at the end of 2021. We're not even going to get the 3rd season until middle of next year, even though there is a new show coming out this year that's like a prequel series. So there's like a lot with the Witcher world that they can play with, but the other side of that though is that it's like it's the time to get there, and he is in his prime. Let's be fair, he is in his prime. Like he's I should say getting to the end of his prime, or middle way through, however you want to look at it, right? For doing all this stuff. But Bo DeMeo here did call out the show, saying that people actively disliked it. He says, in the fall of 2020, Marvel's head of streaming asked me to develop a take to revive a show. This would be X-Men 97. From there, I pitched it out, was hired. My LP was a first hire, and he brought along the amazing talent that followed. My general rule was you had to be a fan, no questions. I've been on a show, namely Witcher, where some of the writers were not or actively disliked the books and games, even actively mocking the source material. It's a recipe for disaster and bad morale. Fandom as a litmus test checks egos and makes all the long nights worth it. You have to respect the work before you're allowed to add to its legacy. Now, I do agree with that wholeheartedly. And I think the respecting the work is the key facet of it. I don't think you have to necessarily be a fan of something in order to respect it.
I think, you have to respect the source material. And if you're actively disservicing and disrespecting it, then your product will not be well received by the source material's fans.
Yeah.
And the fans will see that.
But the fans flooded for fucking Witcher.
Yeah.
Right? It shot.
Well,
there's
some fans who, like some fans who are fans of both the books and video games who are like, no, I don't like the show. then there are some fans who are like kind of fans of the video games who are like, okay, I can get with this. And there's
Yeah.
some fans of the books who are like, okay, I like this. So I
I
mean,
like the video game. I love the show. I haven't read the book though. But again, it's also
yeah,
these are different interpretations, and
right.
that's how we have to view. A lot of people, like, again, when you play a video game, like, oh, how hard would it be to just recreate what I'm looking at? You've already done it visually. Just do it again in live action. It's like that doesn't always work that way. There's like, to make this stuff look realistic and to get you involved. It takes time. It takes money. All these things that go into it. And certain things are going to be a part of that. Now, Anthony here does ask, where's Mindhunter season 3? That's more on, I think, David Fincher, to be fair. David Fincher got really busy. And I think that's a lot of it, though. There's been talks about Mindhunter season 3 coming back.
I hope it does.
Me too.
I really
Me
do.
too. But I think, hold on here. Henry said, wasn't that the Mayo guy, the same guy who conveniently forgot that monsters and men hate each other? And for that awfully written but well-made Witcher anime. I liked the Witcher anime. Nightmare of the Wolf I thought was really good. I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it.
Mayo, like, he's written for shows like the originals, which was I think was either, I can't remember, it was a prequel or sequel to Vampire Diaries. I think it's a prequel. Yeah. But he's a writer for that. And like for like the first couple seasons, and then he transitioned to more smaller scale type things.
I think that the thing is with these shows is it's very difficult. The way, looking at The Witcher specifically, the first book is very hard to adapt, right? Because a lot of it is like, again, you're following Geralt, and then you're following the one girl whose name I forget right now for some reason.
Yennefer,
thank you. Yennefer. Yeah. Then there's series story. You had 3 individual stories taking place at 3 individual times, not like at the same time, at 3 different times in the show for a season. And they went through it and they had to adapt it. Now, Henry here, there's a couple little snippets here. This was sent to me by Donovan. It says here, in an interview with the Hollywood Reporter, showrunner Lauren Hissrich revealed that Henry Cavill, who plays Geralt, pushed for The Witcher to have more dialogue so the character would appear more like his novel counterpart, saying a lot of the notes he was sending to me were about Geralt's dialogue. Could he, first of all, say more? She then reflected at how season 1 portrayed The Witcher. Everyone came out of season 1 laughing and loving Geralt's fuming, but Henry was saying that when you read the books, you spend a lot of time in Geralt's head. How can we put that on the page? See, that is, again, the internal monologue that you get from books is so difficult to replicate. And
I think the best way to do it is how the Batman did it.
Having it be through like a journal or something like that,
a journal,
like
or like
voiceover,
some sort of thing like that, where it's like it's a recounting of events that happened.
That could have been okay. I mean, but that's always kind of like, but that's also kind of cliche, to be fair.
It is, but like the way that it did it in the Batman is like, you don't really focus on Bruce when he's recounting those things. You're focusing on the other things that he's talking about. He's talking about the citizens of Gotham, and he's talking about the crime in Gotham, and then he's talking about the GCPD and how they help kind of like exude that fear of the Batman. So with Geralt, the way, in some things in his internal monologue and how he, focuses on himself, is that you can, kind of like focus on the, like, not the POV of Geralt, but the POV of the person he's interacting with. And
he does have a quote here where he says that the toughest part for me was finding that balance between the showrunner's vision and my love for the books, and trying to bring that Geralt to the showrunner's vision. It's about treading a fine line there. It's the showrunner's story, so it's an adaptation. The tricky bit for me was finding Geralt from the book's place within that and being able to serve both as much as I could. And it's very hard to do, because I do think that the showrunners wanted to adapt the books, but maybe also the video game, because that's what's more popular, arguably. And then Henry also loves the books, loves the character, but probably also we know he loves the games. So there's that performance of Geralt. He very
Right.
much, if you watch the show, he's playing Geralt from the games. He's not
Yeah.
doing Geralt. Like, that performance is Geralt from the games, complete with the grunting and the fuck. Like, it was just like, he looked identical to Geralt in the games, and he was so that character, because
And
that's his primary experience, I believe, with the
Yeah.
character, and that's what he's
like,
adapting.
I'm like, another thing is like, I'm doing the work that I need to do as an actor and as a fan of the source material. And, you know, he's probably not seen it with the stories he's given. And then, of course, as I think someone mentioned earlier today, that he most likely mid-season 1 was trying to input stories from the games and the books into, like, at least be like the lore master on set, and be like, here's like what happens.
Amen. Yeah. No, I know. Okay, going on to say here, he has more of the quote. Says, the things that I push for, it was not necessarily just more dialogue, it was bringing a more book accurate Geralt to the screen. Because I'm sure, as you know, in the books, Geralt is an amateur philosopher. He's an intellectual. He's wise and thoughtful. Yes, at times he's morose, morbid, and snarky, but it's important for me to have character be three-dimensional. And it's tricky to do, as I was saying earlier, because there's a certain vision and there's a certain set storyline and plot. And so it's about me trying to find Geralt's place within all of that. All of my asks and requests were along the lines of just being faithful to the source material. And they brought that up in some of the behind the scenes with season, with season 2, right? Like, where he was like, oh yeah, he would be able to like tell you which page this line of dialogue was on and things along those lines. And this is the thing I would have done if I was Henry Cavill. Because here's why I think he quit. Okay. Here's why I think he quit. I think we all can agree. One's in the chat. There's 127 of you guys here. One's in the chat if you guys think he quit because of Superman.
Well, I think it's a bit of both type of thing, where he saw, like I said, he saw an advantage where he's like, oh, there is an opening for me to come back as Superman now, because like, they've been fighting for so long for me to come back, and now there's a new management there, and now Danny and The Rock are pushing for me. Now I can really go for it this time.
Well, we also, I think he kind of talked about that with the Josh Horowitz interview.
Yeah.
Where he was like, I was doing The Witcher, because they just wrapped up in August, right?
Yeah.
Or they just wrapped up in September for season 3.
June,
No, they just wrapped in September.
Oh, September.
They were
right.
September filming that, yeah. And so he had to sneak away and they had to go do it and everything else. And then from there, they were figuring out what they could do, I believe, with the new deal. Because, so we know he's back and we know all this stuff. And I think with him, I think he took on the role of The Witcher, thinking at the time that's probably what he could only get at the time. But then because look, The Man from U.N.C.L.E. kind of famously bombed, good movie, but did not move the needle at all for his career. And like
Sherlock and Enola Holmes.
I can't wait to watch a sequel this week.
Yeah,
I can't wait to watch that one. But he did smaller things here, smaller things there. He was in like Immortals. He was in a few other movies. He did one with Bruce Willis. He was on the show The Tudors. I mean, like, he's had a decent career, but Man of Steel put him on the map. And I do think that it's kind of like the guy who played Aladdin, where he's like, look, I'm in $1 billion fucking movie and I can't get any goddamn auditions.
Right.
I think there's something to do with that as well. I know Grace says that it's like he's difficult to work with. I don't think it's that. I think he knows what he wants.
Yeah,
and
he knows what he wants, and he will find a way to get what he wants, even if it's not 100% what he wants. It'll be a compromise where it's like, okay, I can deal with this.
Well, Henry here says that Superman was just a buyout opportunity. Witcher was his dream role. He left for other reasons. His dream role would be like the Emperor, the Imperator, or whatever the fuck it is, in Warhammer. But I do agree with you to an extent, which is why I think that because if he's only contracted for 3 seasons and they greenlit seasons 4 and 5, I believe, then they would have gone back to the negotiation table. Danny Garcia would have been the one negotiating that deal. And she's also the one overseeing 7 Buck Productions and overseeing Black Adam and trying to get Superman into the fold. I kind of have this weird feeling that there was some manipulation there. I do feel Henry is a nice enough guy to where he's not going to issue the demands that he feels he's owed, because if I were Henry, like, look, Superman is hit or miss. Let's be fair. All right. Like I said, no shade to Black Adam, and I'll get it in the fucking comments, but no shade to Black Adam, but Superman popping up, it doesn't matter if it was a cameo for 5 seconds or whatever did not move the needle. It lowered the expectations. And that is not good when everyone out there is trying to say for years that Henry Cavill is this generation Superman and everybody wants to go fucking see it. But when you have the opportunity, you don't go back to it. Like, yes, it got leaked out online. Yes, that happens. But you know what? Shit can get leaked out all the time and people will still go see it if there's hype for it. There wasn't a lot of hype for Black Adam. And Superman didn't add to that hype. And then now they're like, okay, they're saying, yeah, this week has seen a lot happening with that. Him announcing he's coming back, James Gunn taking over, him leaving The Witcher. I mean, there's a lot that's going on. But I do feel that he didn't have a lot going on at the time in 2018. So he took The Witcher. And I think if you want my honest take, if you want me to tell you what I think he should have rather done, right? I mean this legitimately. If I was in his position and I had the opportunity to continue with The Witcher, or go back to Superman, I would still continue with The Witcher. Reason why is because if you are as big of a fan of the books, of the character, of everything else, and this is like your dream gig, if you go into the negotiation phase, you know what you ask for, Caden? Producer status. Executive producer status.
Yeah.
Meaning you have power.
You have creative control.
Yes, yeah. And you have that ability to sit there and make it right. You have the ability to do that. I think that's what I would have done. And that would have been something better for him to flex his producer muscles, to flex his creativity, to showcase that if he wants to get into a project that is a very, very, very popular genre-based project, that he has the wherewithal to come on in, to know exactly what the fans want, to develop those bona fides, to show them to people. I think it's a better career move to stick with that show that's wildly popular and more popular probably than fucking your Superman. All right. And again, people, Matt, you're on. Dude, we got how many millions of people checked out The Witcher? All right. Fucking Man of Steel still couldn't fucking pull in more than 668 worldwide. You know, it's been 5 years. People have moved on. I want it. I'm glad he's back. I want to see more. I'm hoping Man of Steel 2 with Chris McQuarrie. I'm hoping for that. That'd be fantastic. Okay. But let's at least be real about the business side of things, about the career angle here. I think this was Danny Garcia and The Rock saying, we're going to get you back. We're going to renegotiate a good deal. We'll get you what you want. You'll be able to have your say where you want it, whether it's director approval or script approval or things like that, because it benefits them. It does. It benefits them more than it benefits him in the long run. In the long run, it benefits them. They make more money. They assert more control.
And they are power. Also now like the people that brought back Cavill Superman. Like they have that title now.
They have the title. Exactly.
Yeah. They have the title. Oh my God, it's The Rock and Danny Garcia brought back Cavill for Superman. It's like, oh my God. Like they have that praise now. So it's like, it's either have that praise or have the praise of you guys fixed The Witcher. It's like which one's more like will be more appealing to people?
I think Witcher would have I think he could do a couple more seasons of The Witcher and then campaign CD Projekt Red and Netflix to go, hey, let's do the Wild Hunt. Because at the end of the day, that's what he wants. He's played that game multiple times. If he had the opportunity to come back and adapt the Wild Hunt, I think he would do it. But he might also come back to it when he's a little bit older, because Geralt is an older character. You know, Geralt is a bit older and whatnot. But I do think, and I do agree that we'll probably get a Warhammer film out of him in the next 10 years. I think Games Workshop has been talking to him about it. And again, he might be talking to Danny Garcia and saying, listen, I'll do this for you guys. I'll come back to Superman if you guys can help me get Warhammer off the ground. You know, but I have control over it. I think that's kind of the whole thing. But again, my take on it, and you guys can agree to disagree.
Because he did say that Josh Horowitz, interview that he does want to get into producing soon. You know,
and I think that's what he should have aimed for with The Witcher. Now it's entirely possible that they went for that. Because the same with Liam Neeson. Could you imagine Liam Neeson as Geralt? That'd be pretty funny.
I will find you and I will kill you.
No, I didn't miss your super chat. I said it. I said amen for Riley Reed's butthole. He did. That was his free super chat for the month. He's like, can I get an amen for Riley Reed's butthole? Or he said beehole. You know. So.
Oh God.
And then I brought it up, but I said amen. Lord knows I've seen that enough times. But anyway, Ralph Stibble-Tits here says no one wants a Warhammer film besides Command Unit. It's going to be bigger flop than Warcraft. I mean, like outside of the United States, probably not. It's massive and it's massive overseas. Warhammer would probably have to be a series before it became a movie. If you want my honest opinion,
I think it'll. Yeah, I mean, if it might have been an Amazon series, but now it might be an HBO Max series. Honestly,
well, if they're able to, yeah. I mean, I'm sure he's going to want to come on in. He's going to want to come in and do something, do anything that he can to probably, like get something going to become a producer. But I really feel, and I've said this before, that his representation is lacking him. I do. I think they're failing him on many ways. I think they dangled Superman over his head for fucking years. I do. And they got it done. It took a long time, but it was also a perfect storm. If AT&T had decided that, let's say the pandemic never happened. The pandemic never happened. We probably wouldn't have gotten the Snyder Cut.
No.
Right?
I mean, like, the thing is, like, with the pandemic, we would not have gotten the Suicide Squad, James Gunn's The Suicide Squad either, No,
that was still in the works. He had signed on in 2018.
Canceled before the pandemic.
Yeah, no. He Suicide Squad. He signed on to do it in 2018.
Right.
It ended up getting delayed to 2021, I believe. But yeah.
I mean, the pandemic literally folded like so many years into one. So.
I know it felt like, I mean, Wonder Woman got delayed multiple times before it even came out, and they got delayed before the pandemic. So, there's a lot with that.
Like, I mean, with the pandemic out of the way, I think honestly, we would have Justice League Dark stuff. We would like J.J. Abrams stuff. We would have it. We would have at least like promotion for the Green Lantern series, like. The pandemic stalled a lot of stuff for DC, and also pushed out a lot of stuff for DC as well.
Oh no, yeah, everything changed, and so if it hadn't happened, we would not have had to wait 2 years for the second season of Witcher. They'd already be on season 4, perhaps filming season 5 at this point in time. Yeah. There'd be other things that would have happened. The AT&T probably wouldn't have sold Warner Brothers.
Be surprised if by this time we would have like found out who they recast Superman as.
They probably would have recast him. I mean, it's just and I'm not like attacking Henry or not. I like Henry quite a bit. I'm just saying I'm critical about what I feel the business side of things are. And looking at it, you're like, okay, I mean, there's elements here where you're like, he clearly wanted to do this gig. I have a feeling that he'll come back to it one day. I really do. I have a feeling he'll come back to it here. But like, H. Bart's messaged me earlier today, and after this happened, he's like, I really hope they explain recasting in the show. And I'm like, they're not going to explain recasting in the show.
Yeah, no.
That's not how this stuff works.
It's like, unless they end up saying 4 and 5 is like the last 2 seasons, and also it's a prequel,
like a time jump.
Yeah.
Whatever they're doing with that one,
a flashback or a time jump type of thing.
Well, how old is Liam Hemsworth? How old is Liam Hemsworth age? He is 32.
7 years younger. He's 7 years younger than.
Wow. I forgot he was married to Miley Cyrus. I mean, if you want to bring out a tortured soul character, there you go. There you go. Pull back. He can just reference his marriage to Miley, for like the distraught 1,000-yard stare that Geralt has. But I do think, again, they were trying to adapt the Geralt that people know from the video games more than they were trying to adapt the Geralt from the books. And the Geralt from the video games is morose. He is stubborn. He is morbid. He's very matter of fact in the games. And that's just the way that they portrayed him. And you know what? That is what hundreds of millions of people played in those games. So much so that even CD Projekt Red has now said like, they announced this week as well that they are remaking the original in UE5. And like, that's big. They're remaking the original Witcher game in UE5 in order to be able
That's interesting.
to bring it out to Matt. It won't be out for a while, obviously, but it's like, even fucking, what was it? Even Max Payne 1 and 2 is getting remade by Remedy
Yeah.
and the engine that they use for Control. And like, so I mean, I have a feeling we're going to see a lot of that happening. But that being said, look, there's a lot within the Witcher world that we're going to get. I mean, there are the 2 seasons of the show. There is a Nightmare of the Wolf anime, which I thought was actually pretty decent. There's a new prequel series coming up. There's like another animated movie or animated show coming out. Netflix is clearly invested into this property.
Yeah, honestly, if they're invested in this, I think they might do 4, 5, and 6 with Liam, and then a possible 7.
Yeah, but if there's even a hint of a Wild Hunt movie, Henry's going to be like, knock, 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 bitch, let me in.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are going to be okay with that. And there's
the question is now with Cavill's, schedule free. Well, not free in early next year, but free mid to late next year. I think definitely they'll fast track this now and try to at least start shooting mid next year to get this out 2025.
Oh, you think for Man of Steel 2 or whatever?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I definitely think that it's I definitely think that the whole thing
like it's not a 2024 thing because that's too early. Like any movie that's a comic book movie that's like big spectacle, like a Superman movie, will not, if they're going to start, like, they're clearly not going to start now or not start early next year. But even if it was, it would still not be out by like late 2024, early 2025, either way. So and if they start mid next year, then it'll be a mid 2020, summer 2025 thing. Which we'll see.
I could see them, yeah, fast tracking it. Like they probably, and the question that becomes, is James Gunn going to direct?
Yeah.
I mean, it's entirely a possibility that he could direct it. It's entirely a possibility.
As the whole Emmerich that story of Emmerich trying to whisper in Safran's ear, James Gunn's Superman, it's like, get him to do Superman type of thing. And then Gunn and Safran's like, no, Gunn knows his place, that he won't direct a big spectacle character like Superman.
Well, I think, here's the thing with that is I feel like they maybe won't announce that right now, but after either Guardians, the special, or the movie comes out, they might, because at that point, James Gunn's going to have so much positive press coming his way that people are going to be like excited for him to direct another movie. Oh, what's he going to do next? Now that he's running DC, and it's going to be like, oh yeah, I'm doing Superman. And they're going to be like, what? Right. And then Grace's head's going to explode. And, like,
I mean, looking at when it comes out in May next year. So around June, June and July is a perfect time to start production on this movie. So definitely.
Well, because Gunn's also going to remember, they start filming Peacemaker season 2
in summer of next year.
Summer of next year? Really? Is it summer? I thought it was like January.
He said summer.
Fuck.
So that'll be scheduling conflicts right there.
Fuck.
And which he's writing and directing all of those episodes.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I know. But fuck. I don't want to wait. I fucking, God damn it. I love Peacemakers. Son of a bitch. We'll have to wait.
It's gonna be early 2024 for that.
It's gonna be, it's not gonna happen for a while. I mean, Henry still has the Argyle sequels. He's got that new Fleming movie, the Ungentlemanly Warfare stuff. We talked about that yesterday.
That's what I'm saying, was that like the Guy Ritchie movie he was just cast in on Friday, that was just announced. It said that it was going to start production in January, and those movies tend to take like 2-3 months of production. Yeah. At max 4. So that's like a March, April wrap up, and then of course, like 2 months of training for if they want to start filming that summer or like late early, if they want to start midsummer, late summer, then he'll start training for that, and also they'll like, of course, do fittings and whatever they need to do, chem test and chemistry test and whatever they need to do for the possible filming of next year. So
Yeah, with any luck, we'll get more information on that soon. But in the meantime, Cavill's Cavill, man. So I'm
Yeah.
bummed about The Witcher more than anything else, to be fair.
yeah,
but,
when I saw that, I was like, wait, what?
yeah, I was like, whoa,
How?
that's big.
Like,
That's new.
I was saying that, I was like, I wasn't going to watch The Witcher in the first place, but now I'm for sure not going to watch The Witcher.
You should watch it. You should watch it. It's good. It's good. It's fine.
I'm
bloody as
thinking
fuck.
about it.
That's good. Trust me. You'll like the first season. Like it gets going. It gets really good. People really like the first season.
Okay.
The second season, it was, it wasn't like people, it wasn't the greatest thing ever, but like, again, it's like not everything is going to be, fucking, like amazing and shit.
Right.
But, because again, so we are going to wind it down here, guys. We are at, currently 40 likes, 133 people watching. Thank you guys so much. Be sure to smack the like. Command Unit did ask us to take a look here at the game trailer for Atomic Heart. They just announced that Gamescom 2022. We'll take a quick look at that one, and then we'll wind it down because it is just after midnight here, and I'm tired. That seems kind of rapey. A little rapey.
What's going on with the female robots now? Can we go back again? Oh, there we go.
Fuck. So,
Wow.
all right. I mean, I get a lot of Fallout vibes on that thing. I
Yeah,
get fucking
I was
BioShock
gonna say
vibes. A
Fallout.
lot of BioShock vibes.
Fallout plus Bioshock
Is that
plus
out?
butt sex. You
Butt
get-
sex plus butt sex. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go, folks. I mean, okay, so that comes out in December of this year. So it's coming out December
that's cool.
2022.
I mean, it looks great.
PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series S, and X. Well, okay, now they're saying Q1 2023, I guess. But
We'll see. But it looks great.
it looks fun. It looks a lot of fun. I like that kind of shit.
Yeah.
Man, oh man, oh man, oh man. But all right, everybody, thank you so much for coming and hanging out tonight. I really do appreciate that. Of course, it's always fun talking movies. It's always fun diving into stuff. If you haven't already, please be sure to leave a like, to leave a comment, to subscribe if you're new, share it around, get your friends on the HWAD squad. We'll talk to you guys later. Have yourself a great night. Go enjoy Halloween Eve. Do some crazy shit, not too crazy. I don't know. Crazier than Supes. How about that shit? All right, guys. Have yourself a good one.